Hey, what's good? What's going on, everybody? You already know who this is. Welcome back to, and it is, I promise you. I mean, I'm here all the hype. I'm here all the myths. I'm here all the get rich quick schemes and all that. And it still hasn't changed after 5 years, man. So you know if this thing been a Wall Street thing and it hitting digital now, we're in the beginning of this thing. I truly feel that we're in the beginning of it, right? So with that being said, um, we're back in it. All right. This is the week of July 28th, because today's Tuesday. And till what about it? Until about I think the first is on a Friday. Yes, because the 31st or the 30th is on a Thursday. So from the August 28th to Friday, I mean July 28th to August 1st. This is the week on this chart. So we're gonna start off with Nas 100, keep going down. Nas 100, see what it's doing from last week. GBP, JPY, gold, and JPY USD. And we can get a trade. We'll get that one trade. If not, then hey. So if you've really been tapping in, you know, I have been into the trading game for 5 years. I always tell people three, I was in that game stupidly, blind, like three blind mice, like Ray Charles. We was out of here. You feel me? So I was with an MLM, 333 over here in the corner. Look, 333. I was in an MLM. That's how I was introduced to me through a family member. I was already doing portfolios with stocks, but I wanted to learn how to. So I do certificates. I've done Roth accounts, all that, RAs, all that. But I wanted to learn how to like literally understand what I'm looking at. And foreign exchange fell into my lap with I Am Academy. If you want to know my journey about I Am Academy, go back to our first video, one of our first videos around that, and I'll tell you about the coach. The coach. You feel me? But moving on, and then you go back through our older videos and you can check out the journey. I'll talk about it. I will be dropping more things on the podcast soon. Gotta get myself together mentally. Haven't been really tuned in, but that's part of the journey. Sometimes you get off your path, but we gotta get back on it. But anyway, back to the chart. We're gonna start off with Nas 100 so you can see what happened last week and if it hit, if it hasn't hit or whatever. So let me put the eyes back on this chart. Just looking at this chart, right? Um, to where our point is. We're into this trade. We're in a buy, um, right? And we have accumulated over $103, right? The goal, the overall goal will be $231.92 for the lot size and risk management that we did. This trade is still currently going. So as of July 23rd, 2025, price is currently in the trade, and we will wait to see if price take profit right here, sell loss, which it has done neither. Price is still moving above the PPP, which is the not the PPP, above the PP, which is it's crazy. Price is still above the pivot point on the week, the day, the 4 hour, and the one. As you can see, we're above that pivot point on the day. On the 4 hour, we're above that pivot point, and as well as the 1 hour, we're above that pivot point. And this is what that thing look like. You feel me? So pivot point right here, even off the week. All right, we just broke above this pivot point, but we broke above it last week, as you can see right there. So it gave us an indication that we could get into this trade. So for Nas 100 for this week, we are not looking to get into this trade. We're still currently in it, so we're gonna ride it. For the ones that did not catch that trade, I do not want you to get into that trade. These are trades that I saw within my set of rules that made me feel comfortable to get in. If you took this idea, kudos. But if you haven't gotten in yet, I do not recommend that you get in. I definitely you should wait to see what the market is going to give after this takes off, take it to its zone, right? Which is just take profit or sell loss, whatever. So we're not going to focus on Nas 100, which 9 out of 10 used to be where we spend the most of our time at. Since we're going to wait on this trade probably about tomorrow, sometime tonight. Not tonight, the market's closed. Tomorrow or sometime this week, this trade should hit profit or sell loss. Now, for all you money makers out there, if you already been into the trade before, you're an expert, or you've been trading before, and you're watching me, and you're like, "Hey, that was a good trade. I should get in." If you got in, I think you should definitely move your sell loss into make your sell loss a trailing selling loss, right? So move it for where it is currently back into at least where you break even to the entry point, and then you can continue to ride it up. But me, I don't care how this goes. I want to continue to believe in myself, however it goes. So, with the trailing stop loss, I'm gonna let it keep riding. You call me dumb, your mama, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not talking about you. Don't talk about me. I'm just telling you what works for me. So we're gonna move on to gold, and I'll show you what I think for the week. My personal input. Uh, we're gonna read the notes first, which is crazy, right? Because if you really just look at this overall thing, like we just gonna let's just move the eye, and you just think how this low and this low is made, right? So this low is currently is the lower low at that moment right now in this picture, and then you have this higher low and this higher low, right? But then you have where price is not breaking this resistance zone here. It's a zone. So price is not breaking above this area. But then you see where price created this lower low, a higher low, far by this lower low, and then turn around and made another higher low. And if you look at it, that would have been in the inverted head and the shoulder. So this would be essentially the whole inverted head and the shoulder here to about there, boom, right? Because price went all the way here. So even you just look at it like this, boom, boom, boom. Price has not broke above this head and shoulder. So I still think because it's inverted and now price is above these pivot points, I think price is going to shoot for a buy. But we're going to look at the market and see what our notes say. This is me. I don't really know. This is what makes it crazy. This is what makes Forex a little difficult. Okay. All right. So we're back above. We're right here. This is a previous month close, and this previous month close was an area where price was resisting, right? So we got up here, price pushed back down. And then if you drop down the time frame, I want to say about here, you'll see where price was trying to get above the area, right? Boom, right here. So this is a resistant area. And then it was bouncing off this trend line, came back, hit that overall resistance, came back down to this trend line, boom, bounced back off the trend line, right? So price so far respecting this trend line, all the way back up to the previous monthly high. And then price broke where it says the previous monthly close. It jumped on top of this, creating this to a nice little support area. Because for some reason in the past, you can see where price bounced off the support. It dropped below, but still came back up. Support. It dropped even lower here, but it didn't stay. Came back up into this support, right? Support. It's bouncing off the support multiple times in the past, and then right here we are. So currently in the future, price didn't even get that far down to the support. It can drop to this support, but the question is, will it be bouncing off? My only thing with this is that it was a nice little trend line going through this, and then it breaks the trend line. So that would be my main concern as we look at this. So we're gonna look at the notes, and then we're gonna take away the weekly because we're still in the month. We're on our final week of this month, so we're gonna take this week and see what this week does, and then moving forward to the next week. So we're gonna look at the notes, and then we're gonna see if I can find a trade that I like in here so far. Okay, so let's do it. All right, so yeah, so when price, where's the notes at before I start talking about this? That's my only question in this. My pivot point. I'm gonna take the pivot point off for a second. Oh, here they go. Okay, for notes. Okay, so we want to watch and see what price does next, expecting price to drop below the pivot point on the daily time frames and create a change of character. On the daily time frame, price created a higher high followed by a higher low. So we were just going over there with the inverted head and shoulder. Price also on the daily time frame falls below the trend line for the first time, few times in history, all right, which is in the past. So 4 hour time frame price is on a valid trend line within 5 or more touch points, all right. And this was denoted the last week before. So when we drop down to, let me close. Let me look at my week. We already got the notes for that. Push that out for a second. Boom, boom, boom. For the week, we have a clear direction of this chart where price made was making solid bounces off this trend line. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is on weekly candlestick. So for the 1 week, 2, 3, 4. So 4 weeks in a month, that's 1 month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then it breaks through. So we're on 11 touch points. 12, 13. So 13 touch points, right? And price was making solid touch points until it got around the 10th, 11th, or 12th touch point, right? And you see where price break. And now if price touch it with the wick, I don't really care. I don't really care when price touch that point with the wick. I only care when price touch it with the full body, because if price break this major trend line has been going on for a couple months now, right? Because we did 13 weeks, and there's 4 weeks in a month. 4, 8, 12. All right, it's 13. So 4, 8, 12, 3 months and a day, right? Or a week. My bad. 3 months and a week that this trend line has been solid. There's haven't been one candlestick. Look what I'm telling you. There hasn't been one candlestick in the past that touched the trend line and even got the body to break the trend line. As you can see, they got close, right? Boom, boom, boom. But this body never fell and closed below that trend line. Everything staying up above it until we got to this red one right here. All right, once price got to this touch point, it touched with a wick. So we still was looking at it as a strong buy momentum. All right, we still going. And then price pulled back and touched it right here and closed below that candlestick for a sell. And this was a selling candlestick. It was nice bullish candlesticks. Bulls was in control, and then sellers showed that they had a little bit of power. And then sellers kept showing that they had a little bit of power. They didn't have to go and make a big candlestick yet. They just showed strong momentum because the buyers started to go less and less and less. So this is a week. So 3 weeks after that, after going 3 months and a week, price, the size is going to die down. All right, so buyers are pulling their stuff out, and we're now under this candlestick. We never got it back above the trend line. Even if it did, it would concern me. But the fact that for 3 weeks after that, we're below this trend line, and then the fourth week, which make a whole nother month, right? We'll make a month. Price is below that previous week, open and close, right? So this is gonna be fun. I think I can find something great off of this because I'm gonna tell you my thoughts. I like when I see trades like this because I am a trend trader. I'm learning so much about myself, but I am a trend trader, and I love to trade with the trend. I love to find charts that are like this that hasn't taken off yet, that are still showing that break in momentum, and people are still thinking it's going for one way when it actually showing you another. And this is easier for me to show you as a trend trader because, again, I love trading with the trend. Now, things that would concern me a little bit, we're going to talk about is some points where you see on the week time frame that pivot point is way down there. For overall time frame, the way it goes, we're still in a buy, right? We're still in the buy because even if you take a trend line, you go here, then price has to fall to that line, right? Excuse me. But we want to catch the trend before it start turning and for anybody else realize what's going on. So we're trading within the day. All right, we're just gonna go off of what the day is telling us. but we're utilizing the weeks. So some things I want to point out before we take away the previous weekly low, the previous weekly high, and the previous daily low, previous daily high, or in the opening and closing. Not only did it break this trend line, I'm gonna make it thicker. Um, Price did not go back and break above the previous monthly high. And then the highest point right now will be the point up here to where the first side, which is the left side of the inverted head and shoulder happens. So that would be the higher high, right? So this would be considered we call a higher high. I'll make it big, boom, boom, so you can see it. I just want to make sure I'm breaking this down, right? Go clone it, and then this would be considered another higher high. And then in order for price to continue to buy, we have to create higher highs. So no matter if we never get back up to this point here, all right, everything we're looking, I'm looking for a sell, right? I'm gonna tell you the reason why. But we only could go break this point to start looking for buys. If we never go above and break the previous monthly high, we're not looking for a buy. All right. For last week, we got the previous weekly low is here, the previous weekly high is here. And usually how price goes when you break the previous weekly high, previous daily high, do you want to buy? But if you look at it, price broke a previous weekly high here, boom, and the previous daily high was up here. So with that being said, there was no reason for us to try to get into that trade, right? Because it gave us no signal to get in. And then price pulled all the way back down to the previous weekly high, previous daily open, previous weekly close, previous weekly open. All right. So remember what I said. Price had to be creating higher highs. Now look what price created twice. And then I'm gonna move on. Okay. A higher low. This is the highest price could go, even though price closed here, right? But this is the highest price could go on January, not January, June 16th and June 13th. It's the highest. So it got higher the week before and it dropped lower. And it dropped to a major support level. And then price made a W pattern here, came back up to where price was last time and created a what? A higher low. Because if you look at it, this low, put it right here. Well, nope. Closed where the June 13th one it was. And then that was here. No, the week before that, which is on July 22nd, it got up to where the June 16th was. And then price dropped back below on July 23rd to where um the lowest high the where it closed at for June 13th. So we create a higher low because I needed price to go above this, and neither one of those broke above, which would have made it higher if it had broke the previous daily high. And then it would have knocked into the previous monthly high. We would know we was in the game, but it didn't happen. So what price started to do, right, is that this right here. I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna keep going. What we was looking for is price to break the break of structure, 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 right? What we got was a break of structure, a break of structure. Oh no, hold on. Break of structure, higher high, higher high. So that's a break of structure. Another break of structure, break of structure. I hate how it's looking right now. Another break of structure, and then we got this, right? So essentially, wait, one more time. Break of structure, break of boom. Another break of structure, boom. Another break of structure, boom, boom. Sorry. Stop deleting this. All right. And then price do what? Come back down. Wait, probably making the more break of structures. Come back down. Make a higher low. Boom. Then they make another higher low. Right? So that's kind of where we at. So the break of structure only happens when price break above the higher high. All right. It doesn't mean that it's necessary selling. We need to have a break of a change of character. And that's when price disrespect the low, changing it from a higher high to a higher low, from a lower high to a what? A lower low. So I mean the next momentum will look something like this. Boom. Now this would be considered a lower low. All right. So I know it's ugly, but that's the gist. So and moving forward, I'm going to go into just marking everything. I wanted to basically show you how I'm just showing you how, even though I've been in for a minute and I'm still coming to the chart, I don't lose my bases. Like I'm still, what I learned has stayed in my head. Or if I gotta go use a reference, I gotta use a reference. But these things are important because they're telling you what the market is doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't take your time and you don't have, and what you know, if you don't take your time to learn it, then it's not gonna be useful. And people think you have to learn everything. You don't have to learn everything. Like it's impossible. I'm not saying impossible because there's probably somebody out there that want to be a smart ass and learn all the freaking know and look and see and know how to spot every chart pattern. If you're a person that only follow chart patterns, then you'll probably do this. But I don't know every chart pattern. Like I don't look for every chart pattern. Honestly, I don't like I'm not a person that is gonna go and study all the candlesticks. Like I've read about all the candlesticks and I know what a Marzubo Marzabo, I can't pronounce it, but Marzabo, if it's a very bullish, you know what it means. Like I know exactly what um a morning star look like, you know. But what I'm trying to say is I don't focus on those things. Like I am a trend trader, so I like to focus on market structure. I like to focus on the trend line, support or resistance. I also focus on break of structure, change of character. Those are things on market structure, price action. Um, I study specific chart patterns that I can spot with my eye. All right, so I would teach you guys more about that, but you want to be able to see these things because if you cannot see, you cannot make the money. Okay. So we're gonna go and we're gonna delete the week and the day. And yeah, we're gonna go and delete all the purple and all the blue. The green has to stay. Everything that's blue. If it's blue, get it out of here. I'm gonna move HL. We're gonna take that away. Take out the higher lows. Take that out. Previous weekly high. Take that out. Anything blue. The main important thing that happened on this chart, out of all things, is that it broke out the trend line. Now, one thing I want to say that it is gold. So just because it broke out the trend line doesn't just make it significant, but for a couple of weeks it has been outside that trend line, and it has created solid bearish candles. So I can't be blind by that. You know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna go to the week, and you already know how we work off of this, right? So for 4 weeks a month it has broken this, and then we were no, we're still below. Okay, so this is the calendar that we're in now. It's the week of June, July 28th. This is the week we were currently in, the week of July 21st. So we're gonna mark this candle and we're gonna go strictly off this candle. If we can find any entries, we're gonna do it. If we find an exit and take profit and all that, we're gonna do it. All right, so let's mark the weekly open, the weekly close, the highs and the lows. Or my box, or my box, rectangle. Yeah, we can go with this color. I like this color. All right. And I just want to say, I wish people also get in their mind that like foreign exchange is entrepreneurship, no matter how you sugarcoat it. So you can't come in and make $1 billion today. Hell, you can't even come and make $1 billion tomorrow. Like you want to learn how to do this yourself. You want to learn how to make your money work for yourself. You have to learn it. You got to learn it, and it's not going to happen overnight. So I wanted to put that out there. If you want to start this, just put in your mind this is entrepreneurship. You're gonna face some things. You're gonna face some things. You're gonna face a lot and learn a lot about yourself. You know, that's true. So I'll be doing you wrong to let you know, like, yeah, bro, you're gonna be able to change your family life with this in a couple months. By knowing the skill, you're changing a lot within yourself. But not by making a lot of money. And if you take this and make a lot of money in a couple months, that means you definitely applying it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hit hard losses at some point in time. You're going to hit those hard losses. You know what I'm saying? So this is on a bullish candle. I hope we open from below, we close from high. So this is the previous week open. Anything you do, you want to do it, you want to learn how to build a business, anything you do. It's entrepreneurship, and you start from the bottom, man. So I just want to put that out there because people get on here and be like, you can make this today, and da 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 da, and then you get in here, you go down this hole because you realize financially you cannot afford this, or you realize it's not making enough money for you financially. It's not happening fast enough. It's not lucrative enough. Somebody told me this is not lucrative enough. You wait longer with stocks. You know what I'm saying? So just mark the previous weekly high, previous weekly low. Sorry about that. This week it open supposed to be right here. We're gonna put that right there. All right. All right. So now you can see it. So right now, price is not below the previous weekly low. All right. So we're gonna drop, excuse me, down to the day, and we're gonna see what we're working with. So we're not marking off this candle, we're marking off this current candle. All right. And this is a major support here, okay? So what color I want to work with? Yeah, I'll go with blue. That's good. And then we're gonna clone that bad boy and gonna put it right there. Since we're selling our open, start from the top, then not selling, close at the bottom. So, and then I don't see a wick right here on this strong bearish candle, so I only have a wick for the low. So we only gonna mark the low. We do not have a high. I repeat, mayday, mayday. We don't have a high. I'm just kidding. All right, so this previous daily low. And this is our previous daily open. And this blue is our previous daily close. All right. For today, is price currently below the previous daily low? No, price is not. All right. So let's look and see what it did for the 4 hour if it went below the previous daily low. Nope, it actually bounced off the previous daily low. What about the 1 hour? Look at that. It did the same thing. It bounced off. So price made this nice little sell. Boom, boom, boom. But it has not broken below the previous daily low. So we're gonna make a note because I don't think I want to take anything. I'll tell you why in a few. Today is the 7/29/2025. Um, price pivot point on the weekly time frame. About the pivot point. Let me see. Price has it fallen below? No, it's not below the pivot point. It's above the pivot point on the week. So on the week and the day, price is above on the week time frame and the day. On the week time frame and the daily time frame. We drop down to the 4 hour, price is below. Price is below pivot point on the 4 hour time frame and the 1 hour. 1 hour time frame. Price, price. Wait, what's the that's that for the month? I think this trend line became really real significant off of the weekly. Yeah, it did. Price broke a major trend line from the week time frame. Price broke a strong, valid trend line on the week time frame and the daily week time frame, daily time frame, 4 hour, 1 hour time. All right. So price. Okay, so I want to see price break a major support because this major with price break the major support, it will confirm the change of character, right? Um reason why I'm saying it is where's my high and low. So if you look at this, it's the low, it's the high, 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 lower, low. Yeah, here we go. That's cleaner. Sorry. So high, high to a lower, low. Lower, high. High, high followed by a lower high. High, high followed by a lower high. And there's so this would be the lower high here. The price broke that, right? So if price come down, hear me out. Break this previous daily low. I'm not getting in yet to look for a sell, but it gives me an idea that this sell is possible. So um so this would be the high high. Boom. All right, this is what I wanted to look like. Because it's already did this. Boom. So you can look at this double top in a way. You can look at the inverted head and shoulder I was telling you about in a way. Price come here. Boom. Right. Boom. Right. And look at this. All right. So that's the M pattern I'm telling you about. Price has to come down to form back down to this support. This support is coming off as a nice strong neckline for this M, because this M formation, you got a higher high followed by a higher low, and that's a strong support right there. Okay, as you can see, this is a strong support, and it's the only thing that's keeping you from selling it, because once this falls below that, it falls below the pivot point. All right, we'll solidify this because it fell below the previous daily low. Once price break here, below this point here, right, it's going to pull back. That's where you look. So once this candle break, wherever that candle is right there, in this area here, and close, you will look, will be looking for entry on the smaller time frames, right? But right now it has not given me that. So I'm going to write my expectation down on our notes. So I want price to, we want price to break below previous daily high. Price will then be below the pivot points. Price also needs to break and close below major support. All right, which is the previous monthly close. So this major support. Once candle breaks below support, it will change character of the market, right? And now we can start trading on the, looking for sales on the daily time frame. Nope. Start looking for sell opportunities on the daily time frame. So this is what I'm looking at. All right. Let me lock it real quick and I'll read it as you look at my beautiful little display that I think is going to happen, right? So coming into this week and next week, I'm looking for price, which this is the notes. Price is above pivot point on the weekly time frame and the daily time frame. All right, as of right now, price is below pivot point on the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame. Price currently broke a strong valid trend line. This is what trend traders love. Trend line on the weekly, daily, high, 4-hour and 1-hour time frame. Price will then be below the pivot point. We want price to break below the previous daily high. Once it does that, price will once price do that, it will then be below the pivot point. Once price is below pivot point, we're looking for price to break and close below major support. Okay. Once the candle breaks below support, it will change the character of the market. And we're going to start looking for selling opportunities at that point in time. All right. So I'm gonna leave it like this because I want to see it play out. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna play out exactly what I'm saying. So we're gonna see. And Nas 100 is already in there. The trade of the day that I think we can look for the week will be gold. There's no current trade right now that I feel like we can get in. But if you do see this happen, go ahead and get it. If it breaks below the previous daily low and it breaks below that support, making it to a resistance, I definitely think you can get in at that point. Just be careful. All right. Make sure you're getting in at a good point because price can literally go back to where the previous weekly high was and it can go and retest that previous monthly high. So you want to make sure when you break below that pivot point, um, you wait for price to come back in that selling momentum to have opportunities to get in. All right. All right. I'm moving on to the next one. That was Go Peoples. I like that, man. That was perfect. That was perfect. We're gonna look at GBP, JPY, and then we're gonna look at JPY USD. You know what I'm saying? JPY USD is my boy Eric trade. We've been monitoring since the beginning of this year. So we're gonna look at GBP, JPY, see what's happening, what the news look like, because you just never know. For all my good people back there, forexfactory.com is how we look at news. All right. Forex, yep, boom, factory.com. Let it come in. That's what she said. All pretty. All right, so today's Tuesday. We're going to go back to Monday. And then we're going to trail down. Boom. All right. So for Monday, well, we're going to look at GBP and JPY for right now. So GBP we're going to look at, and then we're going to look at JPY. All right. All right, so Monday, everything was orange. All pairs was orange for it says all day, so we had a little bit of that momentum in the market. Then you had GBP yellow Monday, no news for GBP is yellow on Monday, and the rest of everything else, all the other was all the news for Monday was orange, and then GBP was yellow, so orange and yellow, whatever. Tuesday we have GBP yellow, yellow, no JPY news so far, so that's good. It's like my mom said, you don't get no mail, that's no bill. You know what I'm saying? So no mail, no bill. If you don't get no mail on the news part, no bill, you feel me? Nothing bad. So for Tuesday, we got GBP, yellow, yep. Wednesday, GBP, GBP, GBP. I see JPY is yellow and red. JPY is yellow and red on Wednesday, but no GBP news. Then we got JPY on Thursday, yellow and red. And yellow, no GBP news. So Monday, Tuesday, yeah, yellow photos for GBP. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, JPY was red, no news. And then Friday, all day, CHF is it's a holiday. GBP is yellow, yellow. All right, so yellow. So GBP is in a very good standing, right? You want your leading quote to be yellow, yellow and orange. If it's going to be any type of momentum going, you can do the yellow and orange. If I see red anywhere in it, I'm kicking that thing out. The reason why I honestly feel you can still totter with red is when it's the not the leading quote, it's the traded quote. That's why I feel if you're like GBP, JPY is red, right? We saw on Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday it was red. So my mind is like, oh well, that's the quote that we're trading like it's behind. So we want to be able to still see where GDP is holding. If it's giving us some directions that we can get in, then boom, we can use that because I'd rather the news be in the back end than on the front end. Now you can also, if you're a beginner, I don't recommend you doing it. If you don't like, well, if you're trading GBP, JPY, and it has red, period, then don't trade it, right? But if it's, let's see what it does. You also practice this, see how it goes off of your trading style, okay? So boom, we're gonna go to GBP, JPY. Oh, wait, let me go back to gold real quick. I want to delete my news from last week. Boom. There you go. Bam. All right. GBP. So GBP was looking good. Overall, I liked this trade because I saw this trade in a bigger picture form, right? So let me take away the pivot points. Before we even got to the overall of this trade, I knew exactly where my lowest of all lowest would be on this chart. And then because I was looking at it from a higher time frame, and then I also saw that this would be my highest of the high. So you have an overall resistance, an overall support. Um, just to basically put it out there so you guys can see, I'm gonna put that right there. Boom. Right? And then do a overall support down here where price only been down there one time. Right? Boom. Or a few times. But it's the lowest price ever went. So we have the overall support, which is the ceiling. I mean, overall resistance, ceiling, overall supports. You bounce the ball all the way up there. We're looking for the ball to break past the ceiling, so we want to be able to throw the ball as high as possible. And when it break past the ceiling like this, all right, we were like, ooh, we get into trouble because the ball has exceeded past that limit, right? But we had a good solid ceiling, and we're in control of what's going on. We ain't throw it at a glass or nothing. Then we wanted to hit the ceiling. We want that bad boy to hit the ceiling, come back down. You feel me? Or hit the ceiling, break past the ceiling a little bit and come back down. Right? So we hit the wrong thing, but it wasn't the glass. When we're looking for uh like the strong momentum and everything to change for this market price get way up here to this high. We want price to break past this. We want to break a glass. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I saw where price was all the way up here, and then price was all the way down here, creating this higher low right here. So it's the higher, lower low right there, the lowest price ever been. Price created a lower high right there, and then price also created a lower high right here, right? But in time being, these are all essential, right? So I looked at this trade here and I'm like, wait, if price come back to this neckline zone, that's when I'm going to look for price to break past the neckline and I'm looking for buys. If price doesn't break past that neckline, which is a major support, resistant because it's knocking everything back down, then I'll be looking for nothing but sales. But if the price is going to break the neckline, then you want price to also take that major resistance and change it to a major support. All right, so that's enough teaching for right now. We're gonna go down to the week. Let me go ahead and put my and as you can see, price broke above this major support and now it's using it. It's this resistant level, and this is a major support right here. All right, so we broke above this area, which is also the neckline right there, and then price came back down, retesting our support. So this is a higher high, followed by a higher high, right? And this is a lower low, lower low. Now, last week, I was looking at the trade. When we had some news and everything going. This is also work with the beginners. If you're not comfortable with a trade, if it's not giving you all yellow, then you shouldn't get in if your heart is telling you. If you're willing to lose it, then you can get in. But look right here. All right, we saw what price broke the neckline, and this is a major trend off of the week time frame. Price hit it 4 weeks, the whole month, and then we start selling below that for the 1, 2, 3, 4 a whole month. All right, price then we pull back to retest this trend line, and price drop back down. As you can see, we are inside of the trend line, the neckline, right? So price needs to break above for this neckline to be even more significant. Excuse me. And as you see, it did, which is where we currently are. Um, Let me go down to the day real quick. All right. So this is the previous daily. This dude. All right, so we said it's previous daily low. We want the price to break that low for us to necessarily. How do I want to say it? To buy up for the week? Let me press this down. 4 hour. Okay, price had bought up from the previous daily high to here. So we wanted to enter the trade here, and then try and figure out where do we, because we know I know we would we I wanted to buy. So okay, so this is where I put my entry at because bright price had broke the previous daily high. So I'm trying to see, and I put my low. I'll put my low below this. Yeah, because I thought here it'd be too far. So we haven't necessarily got back into this trade yet to activate this trade. Um, so I think this setup is still good for, honestly. Um, per hour. This price they break the below the previous daily low. Because we since you said price break above the previous daily high, we're looking for a buy. And then price pulled all the way back down past our previous daily low, but into the zone to give that trend line test. And then try to do it again, but it broke it, and it bounced back inside. So, and I guess this is where, all honestly, this is where that the news take makes a play at. Because GBP shows that it's good, but then you have JPY doing this doing. So I'm trying to think. I want to see this trade take off actually, because if I come down here to where my orders are, I don't think that trade. And so we up $110 right now, give and take with this long position for Nas 100. Mm, I don't think I put any. Oh, here goes some orders here. Sell. What position, man? I'm in a loan for Nas 100. I don't even know why the orders here says a sale for Nas 100. Oh, I don't know. That is not where I'm in right now. Rejected. I didn't put GBP JPY in because I didn't like what it was doing last week. And honestly, what are we doing here? Positions. It's a long position. Yeah. Um, I don't know why this is in there. And I don't want it in there and they mess up this trade. I don't know what is going on. This is throwing me off. I'm probably gonna look at this a little more. Hang Anyway, uh, GBP, JPY, because of what it's doing right now, man. I I want to see. I want to see if this gonna go in the direction that I'm saying. Yeah, it dropped down and dipped in below this, but it came back into it. So it could just be something like that. Boom. We're gonna watch this trade. I don't necessarily want to redo this trade right now because I think GBP JPY is on a really nice run for a buy. Um, I know for sure. It's just I want to be able to catch this perfectly. So GBP news was red and yellow. This time GBP news was, let's see, we'll make notes. 07/29 2000 2025. I meant um GBP news. I think it was it orange and yellow? Yeah. All right. So that's kind of what keep me from right now. And that could stay there too, honestly. Because I just want to watch. We're gonna watch this trade. I want to watch this trade to see what its next move will be. Will it activate? I don't know. And this is where I do. I don't know, so I'm gonna take a look at it. And I don't, well, above pivot point for sure. Price is above pivot point. What is this? Oh, wait. Price is above pivot point on the week. So it's not above the day. We're right here on the day. That's why I still think it's gonna buy because we're right here on the day. 4 hour. It dropped a little bit below. I think it's tricking us. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, we're gonna look like that. I'm gonna keep it like that. So we're gonna watch GPJPY. So I got you Nas 100, gave you gold, GPJPY. It's a trade I did if you want to take it. It's from last week, so you can go back and look at that. Um, I don't ever want to take it personally. I'm gonna see what it do, then I may take it from there. That's the advice. And let's do GBP JPY. JPY sucked, we know, and USD sucked, we know. So we're gonna look at it. If we're gonna redo it for the week, we're gonna redo it for the week. But I'm not interested to trade this thing yet, man. I'm telling you. Uh, let's see what it. Well, let's look at the new what I wrote for my notes. So we dropped below that major trend line. Right. Okay. Price is not above previous daily high. Wait and see. Wait and see what price is going to do next. Let's see. Previous daily. Oh, for the day. Previous daily open. Previous daily high. Nope. Price is not above the previous daily high. and price broke below the previous daily open. Okay, so previous daily open and it's still below the pivot point on all time frames, still below pivot point. So what I think, let's look into it this week and we can monitor this. Putting on the previous monthly is blue. So we'll get everything that's purple, get rid of. And this will be our last one for today. Okay, people be looking for that get rich quick all the time, but I be trying to tell you, that's entrepreneurship. Once you understand that, you ain't gonna make no money. You really don't make money on 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is comfortable, and I don't think people really understand how comfortable 9 to 5 is because even if I ain't got no check today, if I spend all my money, I pay all my bills, I got 2 weeks to grind it out. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we're below the pivot points on the weekly time frame, as you can see. Uh, we're above. Yeah. Sale. We're looking for sales is what my brain is telling me. Sales week close below the previous monthly low, so it could be selling for the next month and daily, no weekly. So this week, so this is the candle we're gonna mark up. And then we already know it dropped below the week before. If I see something, I'll let you know. I don't know if I'm really rocking with it right now, but I do know I'm looking for sell opportunity though. Yeah, because every time frame is showing that it's below pivot point. You know what I'm saying? So that's giving me strong selling momentum. We're gonna move this candle real quick so we can mark this. Purple, purple. All right. And then nope. Purple, purple, purple. Okay. All right. This is the previous weekly low, previous weekly high. Says we open from the top, previous weekly open, and we close from the bottom. And since we're on the selling candle, I'm gonna put it right there. All right. And price for this week is currently below um the previous weekly close, but it has not fallen below the previous weekly low yet. So let's mark down to the daily, drop down to the daily. Let's let me do this. Put the There we go. Now, this is the candle we on for right now. We need to mark this candle for yesterday. We're gonna use orange. Right there. All right. Close. And this is a very bullish candle, so there's no yeah, there's no wick. So this will be a previous daily low. Previous day close. And then previous daily open. All right. And currently price right now for this for today is not below the previous daily. But the week before that, I mean the day before that, it was below. So we are getting some sales. But right now, um I wouldn't get in for anything. I would want to see what price does for today. Wait, let's go down to the 4 hour. Yeah, because it kind of turned. So we still under the pivot point, right? Now, say in a couple of days, price fall below the previous day low. We can look into that sale. So right now we're expecting, I'm gonna put my notes on here. 07/29/2025. Price below pivot point on weekly time frame, daily time frame, 4 hour. On the monthly time frame too. Um, Look at my volume. Mm, this is the high high on the month and the higher low down here. Yeah, I don't see it right now. This higher low. And it's the lower low. It's the high. Hmm. Looking for price. Sure. We'll see. I'm looking for price to break the previous daily low. So that's kind of what I'm at right now. News is not on this side. So that being said, let me see what I can. Boom, boom, boom. All right. That's kind of what I got right now. It's been selling for a minute. Even if it turns, that's what whatever like we're gonna see. I don't have a trade necessarily on this one, so I'm not trading currently in the market with this one. But this nice little trend line was a good one, and then this little nice trend line was a good one. And as you can see, it has broken the trend lines, and now we're here. So price can push here, right? And I think it has to go either lower or it turns around or something like that to see what we're gonna do. But I don't really like this trade right now. So I'm not gonna get into in depth, but that's kind of what I have so far. So that being said, I'm washing my hand with JPY USD this week. Um, the promising trades I see is the one that we're currently in is NOS 100, and then you also can look at gold. And once you get that okay, like I was showing you, then you can jump into that trade. But other than that, guys, we're gonna keep tapping in each week, and I promise you, it seems like this thing is gonna take off real fast. So I'm gonna constantly be putting out some things. So bear with me. Soon you'll be able to tap in on FOREX Stupid podcast as well. And no, I don't have all the answers. I am a mother. I am a parent. I am a sister. I am a cousin. I am a wife, and I'm a person. So no, I doubt myself too. But I'm telling you, if I could do it, you could do it. And if I can trade and make money for 3 years knowing nothing, just knowing all lies, just all fabrications, all distractions as well. And then going to the last year, taking full on mentorship from real traders and educators to a year later, now wanted to do this for myself, track the journey, and bring the academy to YouTube. It's all a lot. So, excuse me. With that being said, with everything that's going on in life, because life be life, and at some point of time, you're going to say, and I agree. But I'm telling you, you learn now when it take off, and people are gonna have to start learning it later. You've been caught the wave first. Or you could just continue to watch me. This is my journey. I'm not telling you to get in. I'm telling you to start. All right. See you later, man. Peace.